What's up, guys? This is Ben with Tactical Nutrition, and I want to talk about testosterone levels because they are plummeting in this country. They're going down. They've been going down, especially in males, for like the past several decades. And what happens when testosterone levels drop in males is they become less aggressive, more passive, and a lot of the behaviors that we see in society today, especially in the West. And I don't think this should come as any surprise to most people, because all you have to do is look at, especially someone like me, I just turned 40, and I know what, guys were like back when I was 15, 16 years old, and you're going through puberty and testosterone levels are starting to rise up a lot, naturally, as they do, what they were like compared to now. And one thing, I've seen a couple of trends. And I just want to talk about the problems real quick so I can talk about the solutions, because having low testosterone levels has become something that I think those that would seek to control you, i.e. government institutions and medical institutions, education systems, right? Where docility and passiveness is rewarded, because anyone that wants to keep a society, in check doesn't want a group of guys that's aggressive in a focused, laser-like way. I don't mean aggressive as in just you're violent. You should be capable of great violence, but you should choose not to do it. And so what's happened is, these testosterone levels have dropped, and what ends up happening is it causes disease in young men too, because when your hormones are off balance, you tend to put on more body fat, your libido is lower, you're going to actually tend to have more mental issues. And as we can see, there's mental problems with the younger generation. That's been going on for years and years. I just remember going to school and looking at the statistics, psychiatric drugs, especially in younger liberal men. And I'm not trying to make this political. I'm just saying the guys that tend to be more in the cities are outside less and tend to be inside playing video games, eating crappy food, and just not being quite as social. The testosterone levels drop. And so from a female perspective, and I'm not obviously not a female, and I try not to act like I know how women think, but from what I've understood over the years is, as being a guy that's in good shape, physically fit, whatever. I mean, I think I'm a decent looking guy. I'm tall and fit, and I'm not very shy. And these are usually qualities that are seen as positive in females' eyes from a physical perspective, right? Obviously, you don't want to just be an emotional mute. But what I've seen is that, women want assertiveness. They want someone that's going to be confident. And I don't really care what a lot of people would say. They generally want some guy. They would rather have a guy that's in decent shape. They don't want a fat, lazy slob with Cheetos in his belly button playing video games all day, all right? Sorry to break it to you guys out there if you're like that. And if you do happen to have a high grade woman and you have those type of personality traits, you probably got some money or something else going on, because I guarantee you they don't like it. Anyway, so how do you raise testosterone levels, right? So what's happened is I blame mainly the food and the water and what people are consuming, because there's a lot of different things. Some of these are more obvious. When men are not eating enough healthy fats, things like eggs and meat and saturated fat, and even things like avocado and olive oil and things like that, which are a lot of things that a lot of younger dudes aren't eating. They're eating a lot of processed carbohydrates, grains, the same thing that fattens up cattle. When you eat those type of things, your testosterone levels naturally lower. And so what you can do is because in order to create testosterone, you need cholesterol, right? The sterols create, not sterile, sterol, hormones and things and exogenous things that you eat are going to increase your testosterone levels. So cholesterol is mainly found in meat and eggs and even some dairy products. But so having eggs and eating meat, and you don't have to eat nothing but meat, but if you're having eggs and meat and even healthy oils, omega-3, like fish, if you have like wild caught fish a couple times a week, is something that I'm always talking to people about, your testosterone levels will naturally rise over time. Doesn't mean that if you just eat 5 eggs, your testosterone levels are going to rise. We're talking about a long-term goal, a long-term mission, right? Where you're always thinking over the long term, just like one workout isn't going to do anything for you, just like eating one multivitamin is not going to do anything for you, just like being lazy one day probably isn't going to do anything for you, against you. But over time, these are the habits that create problems. So what happens when you have higher testosterone levels? Now, let's say you've incorporated these foods, you're working out. Working out will also increase testosterone. So you're weight training, you're eating food, you're gaining confidence. This is going to transfer over to all the other areas in your life, right? Like, it doesn't just affect your physical health. It's going to affect your confidence. You start to feel better, you start to look better, okay? That's going to make you feel more confident. I don't care what anyone says. If it doesn't, then you've got other mental issues you got to address. You're going to sleep better, and so when you sleep better, that's actually going to reinforce better testosterone levels as well. So that's like a cycle. All these things add on to each other over time. You eat better, you sleep better, your sex drive is going to go up. And what happens, even if you don't utilize the sex drive, like that doesn't mean you have to be out hooking up with girls left and right. And you probably shouldn't do that anyway. But sexual energy is known as something that you can actually channel into a lot of other tasks. And what I mean by that is, like, it's one of the most transmutive energies out there, where if you channel it into something really negative like porn, then you're just wasting it, right? Jacking off all the time, whatever. And I'm not judging people that do whatever, but if you transmute that sexual energy, that high testosterone energy, you can really utilize it to get into your purpose and really to get into performing activities that are going to get you towards your goals in the long term. It's going to lead you to be, again, more mentally tough, physically tough. You're going to be a little more aggressive, more confident. You're not going to be as easy to control. You're going to assert yourself more. And this is what society needs, in my opinion. We don't need a bunch of beta males running around crying at the drop of a hat with no libido, with a bunch of belly fat. Like, I just don't think that's not what a thriving society needs. Anyway, guys, I'll talk more about testosterone in the future. I actually don't have a lot of time today. As you can tell, I'm at a hotel. I've got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna have to take off. But think about raising those testosterone levels and what it could do for you, and then try to institute those things into your lifestyle. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. I will see you in the next one.